Exclusively.
What is this?
77 WABC.
Just like the wide-winged dove sings a song, sounds like she's singing. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Just like the wide-winged dove sings a song, sounds like she's singing. Ooh, baby, ooh, say ooh. And the days go by like a strand in the wind, in the web that is my.
What a way to start your Tuesday morning here back on the Bernie and Sid Show. Some Stevie Nicks on your Tuesday here on legendary 77 WABC with a big show for you. Big show.
It's a hot tune.
One of the great impressionists and comedians and one of my favorites. Did a great job on the NFL pregame show for many years on Fox. The very, very funny Frank Caliendo live in studio today.
Love that guy.
We do love him. Does a very
really
good Donald Trump. And Morgan Freeman and John Gruden and John Madden.
Robert De Niro.
Yes, does them all.
He's funny, man.
Yeah, he's done a Sid Rosenberg once on the Radio Row at the Super Bowl in New Orleans years ago when the Ravens took on the 49ers. He actually sat with me for about an hour, did all of his impressions, and did a Sid Rosenberg and was very, very good.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I liked him for years on the Fox football pregame show.
Yep.
And then he sort of, well, first it was Jimmy Kimmel, then it was Frank Caliendo, and then now it's, I guess they did Rob Riggle for a while.
I think they had Wanda Sykes in there, too, for a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, he's good. He's going to be
now they've got Howie Long.
Yeah, he's the clown now, right?
Oh, God, the whole show. All of them, Bradshaw, Jimmy Johnson, Strahan.
Do not watch anymore.
No, either do I.
Yeah, so the hell with him. But, Frank Caliendo in studio next hour on the Bernie and Sid Show. Should be fun. Should be funny. And, of course, we have the aftermath of the apprehension of the terrorist, right?
I guess.
How else can you phrase it?
I guess he's a terrorist.
Obama's going to address the UN tonight, believe it or not.
Very exciting.
It is very exciting.
Well, I want you to know that open for business, as always, and thriving this morning in Elizabeth, New Jersey, First American Fried Chicken. They are open for business.
The business is brisk as we speak.
What a desperate attempt to get himself some promotion and new customers for the chicken store, no? Isn't that what this was all about?
Oh, yeah, it's a big publicity
Him
stunt.
promoting the family business?
Well, that he got. He got that, but anyway, Obama is going to speak tonight.
Yeah.
You think Obama knows yet that he's been captured?
I don't know. While we were on the air yesterday, Obama gave that press conference. As the guy was apprehended, Obama was saying, I have a person of interest in mind. Right on top of things.
It's humiliating.
But he's going to brag tonight about the number of refugees that he has, that he's going to allow into the country. They're upping the number from 70,000 to
100
to 110,000 annually. And I guess as it turns out, this guy was a refugee from Afghanistan. He and his family, and he turned out to be a Jew-hating homophobe who went on a bombing spree.
Hates
so it
gays.
sort of takes a little bit of the thunder out of Obama's.
A little bit.
You know what I'm saying?
Hates gays,
in fact,
hates the military, and hates culture.
Makes him sound like a fool, if you ask me.
Well, look, again, you and I are kind of different opinions on this. This guy, he may hate Jews and he may hate America, but
he did try to bomb the Marine Corps. Yes,
he did. But this to me goes back to the way he was treated, his family was treated. Now, look, anytime you're pissed off.
Wait, what?
The way he was treated, his family was treated, the ongoing battles in the city of Elizabeth, New Jersey. What do you mean, what?
You think that's
6 complaints?
You know what his motivation was now?
Well, that story's been reported that he was very upset that the cops actually said these Muslims, all they do is cause trouble as they were breaking balls for him and his father. Now, look, anytime you go back to Afghanistan or you go back to Jordan or you go back to Chechnya or you go back to Syria, that's not a good thing. And he was back a couple of years ago. So take a guy who's already pissed off at the United States, who feels like him and his family are being mistreated in the United States, give that guy a reason to hate us even more. And now, of course, the umbrella of ISIS, and you get guys like this. Omar Mateen, the same thing. These aren't guys that grew up terrorists and wanted to kill us from day one. Other things happened in their lives, and they latched on to this, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, whatever this, I don't even know what the hell this guy was, and that's what happens later on in life. It's not as easy as this guy's a terrorist and wanted to kill Americans his whole life, because that's not true. It's not true of any of these guys.
Wow. I'm not
It's
sure.
not.
I don't even know what your point is. I'm sort of lost. I don't know where you're going.
What are you
with it.
lost about? I don't understand.
The guy he's a refugee. We gave him asylum. He came to this country.
His whole family, not just him.
Like the Tsarnaev brothers and like the San Bernardino guy, like the Orlando guy. They went back to, they traveled to terrorist nations. In this case, it was Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Right.
And they came back. They were pissed off. They became terrorists.
It's not that easy. That's stupid. And you know that's not true. They didn't just go back and become terrorists. He was pissed off with the country. He was aggravated with the way his family was being treated. He didn't like the fact the cops around the city said these Muslims, all they do is cause trouble. Then he did go back, and now he had himself an excuse to do all this stuff.
I'm not going to take him at his word for what he says. Any scoundrel is going to invoke, I don't like the way they treat Muslims. But no, it's not his word.
These are facts. There are 5 or 6 different complaints from his family with the local police in Elizabeth, New Jersey. It's not his word.
It sounds like you're making excuses for the guy. That's
I'm not making excuses for the guy. What I'm saying, it's not as easy as he's a terrorist. He went home. He wanted to kill people. It's not that easy.
It is pretty easy.
No, it's not.
It's pretty easy.
Well, that's why you like Donald Trump, because he's idiotic in the same way. He just makes everything black or white. There's no gray matter. It's not that easy.
You've sold your soul to the people who are just like naive suckers and fools.
No, this is not naive.
When it comes to terrorism.
It's not naive. There have been facts presented in this case, not all of them are out yet, that make what you're saying ridiculous. It's not as easy as he went back to Afghanistan and wanted to kill somebody.
She came out yesterday and said nothing.
I agree.
He came out yesterday with some specific proposals, profiling, tougher on immigration, and that's what we need. We need some new blood. We don't need the same old stupid, naive nonsense.
We're arguing 2 different points. I don't disagree. She came out and said nothing, and she's annoying, and I can't stand when she speaks after these things. I'm lockstep with you on that. I am lockstep with you.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yes, it does. All I'm saying is in this specific case, it's not as easy as this guy was a refugee, went back to Afghanistan and wanted to kill people. There were other things that happened along the way in his life,
I don't believe
in his family's life.
Everybody has.
You don't believe
everybody
that.
has problems and hardships that occur. I mean, it's not because there's a conspiracy against, they're treating Muslims. I mean, my family went through hell. I'm not saying that the society was against Irish people. I mean, everybody has their hardships.
Okay.
And, I'm not going to start whining and you just suck it up and go. You don't start bombing gay neighborhoods and Marine Corps races.
I'm not excusing the guy. I'm not saying what the guy did was okay.
Then
what I'm saying is
back.
it's not as easy as here's a situation. He wanted to kill Americans. He went to Afghanistan. He's a terrorist. I'm not excusing the guy. The guy's a piece of garbage.
Then I apologize.
They should have killed the guy.
I apologize to you because to me it sounded like you were excusing.
No,
but
it didn't sound not like that even
no, I know.
a little.
Now I take it back. I misunderstood.
Now every single caller's going to call and say the same exact thing. Oh, Sid, don't blame the cops. It's the victim. He's a piece of garbage.
You see the phone.
It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, we respectfully disagree.
Why are they doing surgery on him? Shouldn't they just let him die?
They should have shot him in the head.
Exactly.
Which Donald Trump is being taken to task for that today.
They should have shot him in the head.
Because Donald Trump said, why would you give this guy any
I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm really confused. Either he was sort of justified, he misunderstood, and needs to be cut some slack, or that he should be shot in the head.
I was being sarcastic about the shot in the head. I never said what he did was justified. See, that's what you do. I tell you that there's other things that happened that are on record here, what his family went through with the local police, all this stuff that made this guy angrier, that may have led him to want to do what he did, along with his hatred for the country. And right away you go to, it's justified, it's okay, the guy's not a bad guy. I never said any of that stuff. I wouldn't mind if the guy got shot in the head and he's dead today. He's a piece of garbage.
Now we're talking. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, but come on, man.
That's stuff
come
that,
on.
I mean, that's
the stupid stuff that Donald Trump says.
The father had trouble selling chicken out in Linden, New Jersey, or whatever the hell. I mean, and that's an excuse for trying to blow up the Marines on the Jersey Shore.
Who's making an excuse for the guy?
Look, it sounds.
Who's making an excuse?
Look, the bottom line is
there are specifics about a story that you have to cover. It's not as easy as he's a terrorist. He wanted to kill people. I'm Donald Trump. Let him die.
Yes, it is.
Well, it is. That's why you guys like Donald Trump, because he's an idiot, and that's what he does.
All I know is people whining about Donald Trump Jr.'s Skittles tweet, and President he was going to go up to the UN today and brag about the increase in refugee numbers. It just rings hollow now.
Well, I don't care about Don Jr.'s Skittles thing. That's fine. I know what he was trying to say. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't bother me.
He said, if I had a bowl of Skittles and I told you just 3 would kill you, would you take a handful?
Right.
That's our Syrian refugee problem. Now, that's a different problem than the refugee problem in general, where we just allow in these 110,000 refugees from around the world for whatever reason. They seek asylum, as the Tsarnaev brothers did, as this family did back from Afghanistan years ago. The Syrian refugee problem is a little different.
Yeah.
Because they're coming from a place where there's no country, there's no way to vet, and they've already infiltrated into Europe, and they were part of the Paris. One of the refugees was part of the Paris massacre a few months ago, and so that's his point, and it's a good point. So you want to take some calls, Sid?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, let's go to where should we go, Flirty?
Let's go to the one who's going to beat up Sid the most. So Steve.
Go to Steve from Brooklyn. Steve from Brooklyn, you're on with Bernie and Sid. Good morning.
What's going on, guys? Sid, I got to tell you, you're an embarrassment to the Jewish race, and I'll tell you why. This is classic Jewish left-wing liberal way of viewing things. Blame the victim. You accept right away that he was legitimate about his anger towards the country because...
I never said he was legitimate. What I'm saying is he's got an anger issue with the country. He thinks it's legitimate based upon what happened with his family. I don't legitimize it. I don't say it's okay. Never made an excuse for the guy. And to call me an embarrassment to the Jewish religion, Steve, makes you an asshole. How about that? Thank you for the phone call. See you. Goodbye. Get the hell out of here. Moron. You're a moron.
Thank you, Steve. And so Hillary Clinton is now saying that Donald Trump is that ISIS is using Trump as a recruiting tool. As a matter of fact, she said this. All right, she said he was a recruiting tool. Don't worry about it. But
we know that Donald Trump's comments have been used online for recruitment of terrorists. We've heard that from former CIA Director Michael Hayden, who made it a very clear point when he said Donald Trump is being used as a recruiting sergeant for the terrorists.
Hillary Clinton
talks tougher about my supporters than she does about Islamic terrorists, right?
So that was his.
She used somebody else, too. She had a second example of somebody else, a government official, who in fact agreed, or at least confirmed, that ISIS is using Donald Trump's rhetoric as a recruitment tool.
So Rich Lowry, who is no friend of Donald Trump's whatsoever, he has an article out this morning.
Well, be fair, he doesn't like Hillary Clinton either.
That is true. And the headline of his article says, Hillary proves her ignorance on ISIS regarding calling Trump a recruiting tool for ISIS. He writes, this speaks both to her desperation, and he says, Clinton makes it sound like ISIS fighters are disaffected members of a swing state focus group who, as soon as they hear an offensive statement from Donald Trump, prepare the next attack. Says Rich Lowry, and then he says it's a bunch of nonsense, and then he goes on to say it's religion, or their warped vision, interpretation of their own religion. And also, the Hillary and the media, they planned, of course, to obsess over the birther issue and what a racist Trump is until, of course, this terrorism happened, and to the point where
No. Come on. Until Trump came out last week knowing he was going to be continued to be called a racist and said, oh, listen, it's over, it's done. After further review, he was born in America. It's not going to do with this terrorist. Trump came out and admitted he was born here.
Well, let me apologize. You misunderstood what I said. I said they were planning to obsess over that whole thing over the weekend and this week and what a racist Trump is until the terrorist attack happened and it interrupted all those plans to the point where you had a Bloomberg reporter ask Hillary this following question.
Are you concerned that this weekend's attacks or potential incidents in the coming weeks might be an attempt by ISIS or ISIS sympathizers or really any other group, maybe Russians, to influence the presidential race in some way and presumably try to drive votes to Donald Trump, who is, as you've said before, widely seen as perhaps being somebody who they would be more willing to or see as an easier person to be against?
We know that a lot of the rhetoric we've heard from Donald Trump has been seized on by terrorists, in particular ISIS.
So that's how sick it is. The reporters actually think, implying that this Jew-hating homophobe from Linden, New Jersey, was acting in cahoots with Donald Trump and the guy in Minnesota, the Somali immigrant. That's how sick it is. The reporter thinks that they're upset that it messed up the progress of the campaign and their plans to, again, talk about the whole Bertha
I think
thing.
that we have a bigger issue here, which is not as easy as just keep everybody out or get tougher with the vetting, which I'm not sure how you do that because anybody can lie. Anybody can always lie at any time. So you can be very tough with vetting, and you're still not going to be able to stop everybody. The bigger issue is you have people in this country, you will have people in this country who become disillusioned for whatever reason it is. It could be the government, it could be their family, it could be their sexual lifestyle. They become disillusioned, and all of a sudden there is a cause. There's a wonderful cause out there, and it's called ISIS or Al Qaeda, and they go out and do something, and it goes back to, well, you let these people in 20 years ago, as if they came here 20 years ago with killing Americans in mind, which of course is not the case.
That's exactly the problem too. 1-800-848-9222. Bernie and Sid back after this.
77 WABC. New York comes to talk. 77 WABC.
Hi, this is meteorologist Bill Evans. Glad to be on the show, Bernard and Sid, or Sid and Bernard. You know, which way is it, actually? But I'm on their show, and I've been on their show, and they'll do anything to get a guest on their show. They're that desperate.
Would you go into the marital arena if she hits you with the women thing?
I don't think I'm looking to do that, Bill. I don't know what I'm going to do exactly. You know, it depends on what level she hits you with, if it's fair, if it's unfair.
Right.
But certainly I'm not looking to do that.
He's not looking to do that. That's Donald Trump on Bill O'Reilly last night, courtesy of Fox News. Folks, welcome back to the Bernie and Sid Show here on 77 WABC. Coming up in about 25 minutes, live in studio next hour, the very, very funny Frank Caliendo. But Trump talking about what he may or may not do. We are now less than a week away from this huge debate, and want you guys to know that all of our shows, starting at 6 a.m. with both Connell and Bernard from the Imus Show, into our show, Bernie and Sid, right up until, I think, Bachelor or Rita Cosby, late at night. Every single show at this station will be live at Hofstra University coming up on Monday to bring you all the action from this huge debate. And I think most people are very excited about this. This may be the most watched television event maybe ever.
This is bigger than Ali Frazier said. This is
It's
huge.
Yeah.
The Thriller at Hofstra. Hey, listen, a lot of people are wondering who Hillary is debating somebody. They have a stand-in for Donald Trump. And the question a lot of people are asking is, who is that person? They won't reveal it.
What do you mean? She's been practicing, you mean?
She's been practicing.
Sparring?
For example, back in 2012, when President Obama was mock debating, John Kerry played Mitt Romney. We don't know who's playing Trump at this point, but we could speculate.
Okay.
Right?
Darrell Hammond.
That'd be great. Yes, yeah. But Charlie Sheen, perhaps. That could work.
Scott Baio?
Nah.
No.
Frank Caliendo. He does a great job.
He does a very good Donald Trump.
He does. And on the other hand, Donald Trump says he's not doing these mock debates, but who could he, if he did, and he probably will do these mock debates coming up this weekend, I would imagine. Who do you think should stand in for Hillary? I say I have a couple of.
Rosie O'Donnell.
No. Gloria Allred or Nancy Grace.
Oh.
Right?
Nancy Grace, definitely.
Or maybe Fran Drescher.
Nancy's retiring this year.
Oh, I'm so sad.
Yeah, it's over.
It's terrible.
Well, that's another job Noam just lost. He's on that show like twice a week.
What do you mean another job? He's
well, it's true. You're right.
Gainfully employed right here.
Oh, and he's thriving here. There's no question.
He loves it here. He was going to go with Geraldo, but
he was going to go.
Geraldo didn't go anywhere.
Right. And then he's like, hey, this Bernie and Sid show's not bad. Maybe I'll stick around.
You know, we should talk to Noam a little bit.
About what?
I don't know.
There's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
No.
You know what? Scratch that.
All right. We want to talk about.
Scratch that and screw him. Did you see the headline? I like Noam. By the way, his name is Noam, not Noam.
Right.
It's not Gnome.
Not those little people with the white hair and the.
Exactly right. It's
Noam. He says it like that.
It's Noam.
When I first started working here about 8 months ago, I thought he did that just to be annoying, but it's not. He has to put the emphasis on that second.
It is a 2-syllable name. You're exactly right.
It's stupid.
Why is it stupid?
It's just stupid. Because it shouldn't be difficult to say a name. Like it becomes like when I was doing the Imus Show, for example, that week, and I bring him on to do the news, it was like, here's Noam, Nom. I mean, come on. I just started calling him Bob. Make it easy.
Hey, did you? Peggy Noonan wrote this column about Hillary Clinton, and she went back to all the old scandals. She focused on the first scandal of the Clinton administration back in 1993. It was called Travelgate. I don't know if you remember it. Most people probably. Well, whatever. Anyway, they fired a bunch of longtime White House travel employees. And Hillary Clinton denied it, and blah, 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 whatever. It turns out she was behind the whole thing to get some Clinton flunkies in there. But in it, the point I'm getting to is that Peggy Noonan wrote that people said around the White House back in the 90s, they said it was said that Hillary Clinton had the soul of an East German border guard.
That's rough. That is rough. My God.
That's funny, man. That's funny right there. And speaking of which.
I did see a poll this morning. It's been a really bad couple of weeks for Hillary and pretty good for Trump. But I saw a poll that she's lost. Did you see this? She's lost 17%. She's gone down from 48 to 31 with millennials over the last. Now, did you see who made up the majority of that 17%? It was not Donald Trump. He stayed still.
Who was it?
Gary Johnson. Gary Johnson picked up 11. Excuse me, I stand corrected. Gary Johnson picked up 13 of that 17%. Jill Stein picked up 4 of that 17%, and Donald Trump didn't move. But she lost 17%.
Wow. Yeah, and she gave a speech, an event at Temple University yesterday. At a university.
For the kids.
Kids.
Right.
And she had how many people? She had 200 people in the crowd. Now, Trump's down in Florida. He had 8,000. And as the Iron Man pointed out, Bernie Sanders had crowds like that as well. And look where he ended up.
Bigger.
But still, 200 people at a university. Hillary Clinton shows up. She's trying to rally support from millennials. No, they're not enthused whatsoever.
No.
There is an enthusiasm gap, and the young and maybe people of color, they're not that excited about her. But there is. She did pick up one important endorsement. In fact, it's George Herbert Walker Bush.
Not unbelievable. Which is, again, pretty predictable.
Actually,
the way Donald Trump treated Jeb Bush throughout the whole process. I know you keep saying he emasculated him. He was a jerk-off is what he was. There's no way the Bushes are going to like him.
He figuratively castrated him, which I guess is the definition of emasculate.
It is.
But anyway, the headline on Drudge this morning is Hillary's Bush.
Come on. Is that really the headline?
I swear to God.
Jesus.
That's the headline on the Drudge Report. Hillary's Bush. I'm not going to be able to eat lunch.
No, it's gross.
That is nasty, yo.
He's the one guy I know that actually exceeds you, goes above and beyond. Matt Drudge goes above and beyond you when it comes to his Trump enthusiasm.
Oh, listen, I'll admit it. I admitted it to Connell this morning. I swallow. I'll tell you straight up. I don't spit it out, man. I'm all in.
Yeah, but
I'm squeeze it in there, baby.
Well, then what else can this guy possibly do?
Can you fit more? I'll take it.
Then what else could Drudge possibly do?
I'll turn around too.
Well, maybe that's what maybe he's already turned around. So you swallow, but he's already done that and more. Because he's ahead of you.
Now you're making me sick. No, listen, it's true. It is very.
I remember the debate, the debates early on, the primary debates with those 16 fantastic people that Trump vanquished. The debate didn't even start yet, and Matt Drudge would declare Donald Trump the winner.
Well, actually, the polls, the online polls, virtually all the online polls have Trump winning. But then again, that's due to a lot of the alt-right, the people online, the people who would go to these sites and actually click on a poll. Most people don't do that, but these guys online on Reddit, on the Breitbart guys, the alt-right guys, they're very active. The trolls, the so-called trolls. Now, listen, we were talking about Gary Johnson. He gave an interview just shortly after the 2 terror attacks in which 9 people were stabbed in St. Cloud, Minnesota. We had 29 people were wounded right here in Manhattan on 23rd Street. And Gary Johnson, he of the What is Aleppo? What is that? Right. He of What is Aleppo said the following to an interviewer regarding both those attacks. Take a listen.
You mentioned a safe world, and I wanted to get your reaction to the events here in New York last night. One explosion, Donald Trump quickly calling it a bomb, Hillary Clinton also calling it a bombing, and there have been an incident in Minnesota, stabbings. Tell me your reaction to these news stories from the past 24 hours, and what you think the government needs to be doing on a day like today.
Well, first of all, just grateful that nobody got hurt.
What are you talking about? 38 people got hurt.
I'm telling you, man.
Jeez.
Listen, when they tell you that
he's lost,
that reefer doesn't affect your brain cells.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I ain't no,
virgin either.
Old fuddy-duddy, get off my lawn and don't smoke weed type. But you got to pick your spots, man. And this guy, he's not picking his spots.
But he gained 13% according to this latest poll with those. That was a Quinnipiac poll that he gained the 13% the millennials.
Listen, and I have to tell you, when it comes to the libertarian platform, I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
I love the libertarian platform, most of it. Not when it comes to the NSA and Ed Snowden and that type of stuff, but as far as foreign policy and hands off with the government and all that stuff, I subscribe to a lot of that stuff. I loved Ron Paul Sr.
Yeah.
And Ron Paul Jr., he's kind of sold out. He's squirrely. He's not likable. The old guy, Rand Paul,
right?
Rand Paul, Rand Paul, right?
Right.
Ron Paul now, he had Bernie Sanders appeal to people like me. And he used to get those types of crowds, got that kind of enthusiasm. But Gary Johnson,
he's rough.
He's like Gary Busey.
He is. He's
out of... I mean, you could see there's like a certain vacant look in his eyes when you look at him. But,
he has no idea what's going on. And I would imagine today he knows about Aleppo, being that ceasefire in Syria, which was never really a ceasefire. Now it's officially over. Now they're killing everybody all over the place. And
first of all, we ended up bombing the United States.
Right.
Ended up bombing the Syrian troops. Killed about 80 something of them.
Sorry. Oops. Our bad.
Right.
Oops. Sorry.
And that's what Trump was saying last night to O'Reilly. We're like the gang that couldn't shoot straight.
Oh, what a great book, by the way. The Gallo Brothers. One of the greatest books ever. That was a gang that couldn't shoot straight. Did you know that?
The Gallo Brothers?
Yes. Jimmy Breslin wrote the book. It was
that's right.
The gang that it was the mafia guys, the Gallo Brothers. Albert Kid Blast Gallo. Great book. Great reference out of you. But that's us. We're dropping bombs on the wrong guys.
They made the founders of the wine company, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly them, right.
Yep. We used to drink it by the gallon, man.
Right.
It's good stuff. Bernie and Sid, listen, coming up next hour, we have in studio one of the funniest dudes out there, one of the best impressionists, that's for damn sure, Frank Caliendo. Frank Caliendo in studio with Bernie and Sid, 1-800-848-9222. Back after this.
This is Sid Rosenberg.
The one and only Sid.
Live, local, on it.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exclusively.
What is this?
77 WABC.
If you could only have one guy, just one guy, that you put in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I don't know why that would be. Maybe because there's a small Hall of Fame and there's a fire inspector that says you can only have one guy that can go in that Hall of Fame. That guy's going to be Brett Favre.
Robert De Niro playing the Frankenstein monster?
Look at me, huh? I am the Frankenstein monster. I have bolts in my neck. I'm electric and scary. Ooh. Do not bring that fire near me.
Before anyone ever cared where I would play basketball, I was a kid from Northeast Ohio. It's where I walked. It's where I ran. It's where I cried.
Thank you for coming to Trump Confessionals, the #1 confessional in not just the United States, but the entire world, and that includes the Vatican. It really does.
I got in an argument with my neighbor. It was over this wall that I built between our properties.
I'm trying to absorb this. You built the wall?
Yes, I did.
Then make him pay for it.
I can ask him.
No, you tell him. Asking will get you nowhere. You just tell people what to do. It's in my book, The Art of the Deal.
Brilliant. That's the only way you can say that. The great Frank Caliendo doing all those voices. John Madden, Morgan Freeman, Robert De Niro, Donald Trump. Nobody better in the years that we've known Frank. Nobody better. All these days on the Fox pregame show. There's a lot of time with ESPN now. And by the way, you can catch Frank Caliendo coming up Wednesday night, which, of course, is tomorrow night at the Hartford Funny Bone. That's at 7:30 p.m. in Hartford, Connecticut. Thursday, he'll be at the Wellmont Theater in Montclair, New Jersey. Friday, he'll be in Huntington, New York at the Paramount. That's at 8 p.m. show. And Saturday at the Borgata, the gorgeous Borgata Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City for a 9 p.m. show. With that said, we start off hour number 2 of the Bernie and Sid show with the very, very funny, the genius, Frank Caliendo.
What's up, yo? How are you?
I'm just feeling like a hairful minority.
We get that all the time.
Is that really what it is?
They come in because Sid and I are follically challenged, and Noam Layden is he's flat out bald as we are, and that's the first thing people notice. 3 bald-headed guys.
Oh, now I feel totally unoriginal.
Is that right? That's right. No, that's quite all right. My point is that I feel like a victim. I can play the victim card. I like that. I'm sorry. It makes me feel good. I'm an aggrieved person. You're picking on sort of we're physically challenged. We're the handicapped.
Right.
You're picking on us.
Man, I'm so un-PC.
Yes.
I didn't realize
and I'm a
un-PC.
victim. The tables have been turned. I love it.
How about that? That's amazing. The things you learn, how quickly you can become a victim in this society.
That's right.
And let me tell you how we can fix that. I've really been enjoying the Trump stuff, and it's amazing to me that he's almost working like a hypnotist. Have you noticed this? I don't care where people are on the political spectrum. That's not what I'm not when I come from the comedy that I do is not like a Jon Stewart or a Bill Maher or something like that. I just kind of make fun of everybody. But Trump has this thing where he will create a fact, and the way he does it is at the end of it, he will say these words, and everybody knows it.
Yes. Right.
So what happens is he'll make something up, like there's an entire colony that's been discovered on Mars. 100% of these people, not a single voter is voting for Hillary Clinton. Crooked Hillary. 100% of the Martians are voting for me, and everybody knows it. And then you'll be walking down the street, and you'll hear people going, "Did you hear about the colony of people on Mars? They just found." Yeah. Do you know they're all voting for Trump? Everybody knows it. It's amazing. And he does that other thing where he's
got a couple, too. He's also got, you can believe me.
That I can tell you.
That I can tell you.
That
believe
I can
me
tell
when
you.
I tell you. Right.
And I'm not the only one saying this.
That's right.
Even when he is completely the only one saying it.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one saying this. There are a lot of people who are saying this types of thing.
Big league.
Big league. Yeah. So I did a sketch with him years ago, and take this whichever way you want with it, because he's a different person. I don't know about now, but when I met him, I was expecting used car guy, just kind of like
sleazy,
slimy, just gonna massage everything. And he on TV he was that guy. Off TV he was self-deprecating. He was a totally different person, and we went. He got the joke, right? The joke of what he was. So we're halfway through the sketch, and he's like, "Wait, something went wrong." He's like, "Is this okay? It seems okay. Does everybody think this is okay?" And everyone's like, "Yes, Mr. Trump, fantastic, Mr. Trump, great, Mr. Trump." I was like, "Wait. Does anybody ever say something isn't good?" He looks at me very seriously and goes, "No, Frank, that's part of the problem. I can't get real answers."
That's true.
So it was just an incredible thing. And then he took me down.
No, just stop me 1 second. It's funny you say that, because almost every comedian that has been in here, all of you guys, have met Donald at some point.
Right.
And have all said the same thing, that guy on TV, which a lot of people can't stand, including me.
Right.
Is not the guy that you meet when you meet the guy in real
life.
Right,
and there's 2 ways to look at that. Is he's not that actual person, and he's just trying to win an election by being that guy.
Yeah.
And that's brilliant on one side of it. But the other side of it is, how can somebody be that much, pretend that much on TV and then be a totally different person that they don't show anybody unless they're behind the scenes, talking quietly. So, because it hurts their persona on the air. So you can look at it both ways. And I think everybody does that with politics anyways, right?
Sure.
Whenever somebody is on your side, you just go, well, no, they're just trying to do what's best.
Right,
and then when they're against you, can you believe they did that?
Yep, exactly right. No, listen, me, I think he's a performer in front of thousands and thousands of people. And a la the performance that Sit Down with Jimmy Fallon the other night, he was the reserved, quiet, nice guy that you talked about.
Right.
And
Fallon got killed for that.
Got slaughtered.
But I don't think that's fair to Jimmy Fallon. Just because that's not his job.
Of course not.
Right. It's ridiculous. Not his job. For people, He's
not Bill O'Reilly.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Right. If you want to go after
Matt
Lauer a little bit, but I think if that's not where your questions lead you, and that's not where you're taken aback or something like that, or taken off guard, it's bad. It's poor as a journalist that happened to you. But you can't go after the person and go, "You're a terrible person for not doing this." I don't like that.
And I may point out that when Hillary Clinton sat down with Jimmy Kimmel and showed a human side of herself, and he did not press. I mean, he didn't ask her about email. He didn't get slaughtered the same way Fallon did for treating Trump as just a celebrity that he is, instead of getting into politics.
Right. Yeah. So and it's always, it's interesting. Trump just says some things that are so over the top that get people going, that people are like, well, we have to try and destroy this guy. It's
there's some hate out there, man.
Yeah, but I feel
I hate him.
It's so funny. Well, that's fine.
Hate him.
I think my wife loves him. My wife thinks he's I can
You don't
take it.
care.
I think of it as
love him.
I do it as like everybody else does, with like it's lesser of two evils. But when people go, well, you're going to go to hell. I think Louis Black, you're going to go to hell.
Right.
And I love Louis Black.
Either way.
But it's so funny when you're picking you're picking your lesser of two evils, so you might believe something a little bit different. It's so funny how we'll go after people so harshly that believe differently than us.
Yeah, but the other thing is, it's also so funny how people will defend somebody when in fact they
100%.
admit they're the lesser of two. Like me, I killed Donald Trump and I killed Hillary Clinton every single day.
Right.
Now I've admitted I'm going to go with Hillary, but the fact is I killed them both because they are the lesser of one. They're both evil.
Right.
So when somebody goes, well, I'm picking lesser of two evils, and then defends one of them, at that point you're not
But now let's do what a lot of the media does. Now you're on the side of H.W. Bush.
Yes.
Because you and you're partners. You're buddies.
I happen to love him anyway.
Right.
I've always loved him.
Well, no, but that's funny because a lot of people get mad about that stuff. If you're on the same side as somebody else, it's so funny how somebody will point out, well, that person, likes him, so I can't be on that, so I have to dislike that person. Either side. It just always makes me. That's why I walk the middle. People, when Bush was president, I would go into Texas, and some people go out there that hated George W. Bush and be like, you hate him, don't you? same audience. Other people come out, you must really like him. And that's why I want.
As a comedian, that's what you want.
I don't want people. I mean, for where I'm at, I'm a simple person. I'm not. If I was going after the same audience and had the firm beliefs like a Bill Maher or a Jon Stewart, go for it. That's what you have. But I'm just wishy-washy to start with.
When you were doing the NFL pregame show on Fox, though, did you have to hate Jim Brown, Bill Cowher, Dan Marino, the CBS guys? Was there
JB was still
bit
there
of that?
No, not really.
No?
They didn't even want us to make fun of them because they didn't want to draw attention to it at all. They never
like
wanted
it didn't
to make fun of
exist. Like Boomer Esiason doesn't exist.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of thing. Sometimes the networks are like that, and sometimes they just don't want to make other people mad. Especially at ESPN now, they don't want me to do impressions of people at other networks just because they don't want a rivalry started. In terms of they're kind of the nice people, So they don't want that kind of thing to happen unless you're on Stephen A. Smith's radar. And then I'm incredulous to the entire situation. Let me just say this, Bernard, you're doing a fantastic job, Sidney. I don't know even what your real first name is.
You could do Stephen A. Smith and Charles Barkley
great.
because they both have the
he's
same.
great at
That's
Barkley.
one of those guys that you look at this election and you look at Donald Trump and you look at Hillary Clinton and realize that's why I should have run. Me and Shaq.
That's right.
Shaq and I should have run.
So good.
That would have been better. Those guys, they don't understand that what happened. I was going to be governor of Alabama. And then I had some problems. Got pulled over, and that changed it all.
How to wear that pink underwear in Sheriff Arpaio's jail.
It's Tent City.
Tent City, right.
Tent City.
That was hard
Tent
time.
City's worse than Oklahoma City. That's how bad it is. The men in Oklahoma City, the men in Tent City are worse looking than the women in OKC.
He's one of those guys that he can get away with anything. He's got it.
Anything.
He's
Teflon.
Totally Teflon.
Listen, Donald Trump comes under fire all the time for the way he talks about Mexicans. Correct me if I'm wrong. Charles Barkley threw a Mexican through a window in Orlando one night.
Well, it happens. That's. I have like 10 jokes that I can't do on there.
Yes, you can.
Oh, here you
No,
can.
not me. No, because no, it's me, not you guys.
Oh, I see. Damn. Yeah, we don't care if you get
No,
you ruin your career as long as you do it here on our show.
Yeah.
That'll be our claim to fame.
I'm always really careful. I have so many jokes that happen in my head that I start to think, wow, if that gets taken the wrong way, because I believe that the PC culture is a problem. I think it's nuts, but it's because it's really all about intent, isn't it? If you say something that could be taken as a racial joke for anywhere, or that could be taken as sexist for some reason. It's just a joke. You mean it as a joke. You don't mean it to hurt someone. Now, if you're out there trying to really hurt an entire race of people, that's something completely different.
But it's gone so bad.
But it all means the same thing now. I was walking. It's so funny because the anger, we were talking about the anger too. I was walking just down the street to go tape this thing at Gotham Comedy Club last night, right? So I go and I'm just walking down the street and people are throwing F this and F that at each other. I'm like, I feel like I'm in a human Twitter feed right now. I feel like I'm in the middle of somebody's beef and people are just ripping each other to shreds to the point where you're like, man, where did this... I haven't seen people this angry since Ghostbusters.
That's New York.
Yeah, but it's everywhere now.
Yeah,
it's happening.
It is everywhere.
I also have a theory. If I'm getting too serious on some of this stuff, you can just stop me.
No,
I'll still do some voices. Do some Morgan Freeman and make it all better again. But I don't think people were made to communicate as quickly as we do. We don't have gatekeepers anymore. Remember, you used to have to work your way up to be heard.
Yeah.
Well, now you can create something by running into traffic every day. If you run into traffic every day and get through it, you're probably eventually going to get hit and killed, right? But you're going to run through it. You can put it on YouTube, and if you're the guy who runs through the traffic every day, you're going to have millions of viewers, and you're going to be able to make. If you can get millions of people to just be your followers or whatever,
you can make
on
money.
YouTube,
You can make
millions of
Absolutely.
That one guy, PewDiePie, I think he makes like $7-10 million a year.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Yeah, the kid with the red hair, with the real Goyish family, they're all fat, and he did like a YouTube music video once. He's got his own reality show.
Andy Dalton? No.
Sorry. No. I don't know who you're talking about. But,
I don't either.
But
you're
the
right.
kid with red hair, he did like a music video, and he's got the TV show with his grandmother and his fat sister. You know what I'm talking about? They all live in North Carolina.
We're going to look it up.
The Goober Show.
The
Goober Show.
We're speaking of Frank Caliendo here on the Bernie and Sid Show. And listen, first of all, the breaking news is that Angelina Jolie has filed for divorce from Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, just occurred. And you have lost a lot of weight. So, how
did you tie those two together?
Because now she's free and you're losing weight. You're a middle-aged man.
I'm married. I'm married.
But it's very telling.
I'd leave her for Angelina Jolie.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly my point.
Yeah, is that where you want to go?
There we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all.
See, I'm trying
100%.
Trying to hook you up.
She ain't listening right now.
But Frank Caliendo, he's funny. Now, you mentioned you were down in Texas, and of course George W. Bush. You talked about him. You do a fantastic George W. Bush.
I try.
You do.
It gets out there.
Oh, my God.
That's uncanny.
You know, what's funny, too, and I always say this, is the really good ones, and Frank is the best.
But people say a lot. So when I'm in the room, people say that. But I think there's people that are better than Daryl Hammond.
He's been in here a bunch of times.
And when he's here, he says he's the best.
You're right about that. He's better than you.
Yeah. I don't even have a problem with that.
I'm just kidding.
Daryl Hammond is so. But Daryl Hammond does them differently than I do. Daryl Hammond goes to nail 100% right on the money the voice. Some of the ones I've been doing so far are, but a lot of the times I go to make them more caricatures, kind of like Dana Carvey.
That was my point. The physical
he talked
aspect.
About that.
Yeah, the physical. How you contort your
go
face.
With what you do
and
best.
You do your lips with Donald Trump like you're about to pucker up a butt. It's great.
I wouldn't say it like that. But to me, the Donald Trump joke that I do is it's like he's looking into an aquarium and mimicking the fish the entire time. Like, come here, Nemo. And I'm friends with Dory. We spent a lot of time together.
That's good. Yeah,
he's always friends with everybody, too. Donald Trump is like, listen, I don't want to make fun of Papa John's because they do a tremendous job. I'm friends with Papa John. Right. We play mini golf together. In fact, the other day we were playing laser tag together on Peyton Manning's forehead. Peyton Manning's forehead is the #1 laser tag community, not just in the United States, but in the entire world. It's that great.
That I can tell you. Frank Caliendo on Bernie and Sid, can you hang out?
Yeah.
All right. Listen, we're going to do a couple of commercials and come back with Frank Caliendo, right? The hilarious, who will be, by the way, tomorrow night at the Hartford Funny Bone at 7:30 in Hartford, Connecticut. Thursday night, Wellmont Theater, Montclair, New Jersey. Friday night, Huntington, the Paramount at 8 p.m. And at Saturday, Atlantic City, the Borgata Hotel and Casino at 9 p.m. Frank Caliendo in with Bernie and Sid back after this.
77 WABC.
This is Daryl Hammond doing Al Sharpton. Clearly, we're on WABC, and clearly, it's a great show. You're listening to Bernie and Sid clearly.
Well, there it is, premature articulation there. That was Darrell Hammond doing Al Sharpton. Bernie and Sid back live in studio with the great Frank Caliendo. That's pretty good, Al Sharpton. You know what he does? He does
everything he does.
He does two of them. He does the old fat Al Sharpton,
right?
And now he does the new skinnier version.
Yeah.
And amazingly, they sound different, and they're both right on the money. He does that with two folks. Who else? He does two different voices.
Can't recall. He does so many. I don't recall.
Well, I've seen it with. Well, I've done it myself, and I've actually seen other people do it now. But
so it's not so.
Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is the one. The old vibrant Bill Clinton and the new kind of failing Bill Clinton.
Right. For me, the William Shatner. You remember everyone who did this voice, but then there's the Priceline.
That's right.
William Shatner. The one where I've already made enough money. I don't have to try.
Just be chill.
I could just be here.
That's so true.
Yeah, I mean that's what I like when people do impressions. Is what's your take? What do you find about the person to make it interesting, as opposed to just trying to do the voice dead on? So what are you trying to say with that impression? Where are you trying to get with it? So like for me with Al Pacino, the whole take of it is he's been an actor and been in Hollywood so long, he doesn't know reality anymore. So it's like, wait a second.
So you're telling me that you flip a switch over here and the light goes on over here? This is sorcery. I don't believe it. I don't understand.
And like, so for people who say this to me, John Gruden is the new John Madden. And I'm like, no, John Madden would tell you things you already know. John Madden would say things like, hey, that guy's got mud on his jersey. And then you'd be sitting there going, okay. And then he'd explain how to make mud, right? Like if you didn't know how to make mud, John Madden's there to help you out, as though we're all kindergartners.
You got dirt over here, and you got some water over here, and you mix them together, and boom, now you just got one thing of mud.
Gruden, he's actually more like Dennis Miller. And if you remember, Dennis Miller did Monday Night Football. Yeah. And, Miller stuff was over my head to be like, that's like Agnon Khashoggi waiting in line for the Matterhorn at Disney World. Yeah. And even Stephen A. Smith's watching going, I'm incredulous to this entire situation. But Gruden doesn't know the references. And I watch him a little bit with Sean McDonough, but he used to bounce him off Mike Tirico so much that was their relationship. They'd be like, I'll tell you what, man, that play right there, that play was magical, man. I wonder if he went to school to learn a play like that. What's the name of that school Harry Potter went to, Mike? Hogwarts. I'll tell you what, man, I don't care if you're Minerva McGonagall, Albus Dumbledore, or Severus Snape. You're Harry Potter? You're pretty good at the game of Quidditch, man.
That's Frank Caliendo with Bernie said that is just brilliant, hilarious stuff. He's coming back after Nome with the news.
77 WABC.
Rahami's notes may tell his story. 74 partly cloudy Midtown. Here's the stories we'll be talking about. 77 WABC. Sources close to the investigation into alleged Chelsea bomber Ahmad Khan Rahami telling CNN the 28-year-old may have bought into philosophies of a number of worldwide terror organizations. At least that's what's found in notes scribbled by Rahami, apparently found in a notebook the alleged bomber had on him. And some of Rahami's friends say they saw a drastic change in his personality after making a trip to Afghanistan back in 2014. His father tells NBC he had no idea what his son was up to.
Did you know that your son was doing this?
No.
You had no idea?
No.
Sir?
I'm not sure what's going on exactly.
You're not sure?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening exactly.
And CNN reporting that Rahami's wife may have left the country just days before the bombing. Some law enforcement sources say Rahami's fingerprints on one of the bombs. He's being held $5 million bail, charged with 5 counts of attempted murder of police officers, remains in the hospital with a gunshot wound to the leg.
Back on Bernie and Sid on 77 WABC with Frank Caliendo, the brilliant comedian and impressionist. And again, Frank will be tomorrow night in Hartford at the Funny Bone, Thursday night in Montclair, New Jersey at the Wellmont Theater, Friday night in Huntington, New York at the Paramount, and Saturday night in Atlantic City, the Borgata Hotel and Casino at 9 p.m. So Frank is working it, man.
Making big bucks. That's 4 nights, 4 different venues. You got to be making God knows what.
Yeah, over $4 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fun, But it's a tough.
Well, it started out.
Life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting off the road more. I have 2 little kids. I have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old, and I don't remember their names, but I just want to spend more time with them, and I do well, so I just try and pick and choose now. And this week became a thing of making it a full week. Usually I only go on the road for 2 days, but I'm also coaching flag football. And I'm actually missing a football game this week, so the assistant coach is taking over. But yeah, I want to be home more. And
absolutely,
that's what it's
no
all
doubt about
me.
it. So yeah, you pick and choose your spots. You're good like that. You have, as I observed earlier, you lost a lot of weight. You're not when you do these events, you're not drinking a bunch of pops and getting all screwed up.
No, I don't drink at all. I've never. People never. I grew up in Milwaukee, so people don't believe. I've never been drunk in my life.
Never once.
No,
wow.
Huge heroin addict.
Okay, that's different.
I've never been high on anything or
really?
No, or drunk at all.
Which in your business, that is really rare.
But I grew up kind of as a loner, anyways. But it's just who I am, and there's no religious thing or anything like that. Right.
Hey,
it's just
a free country.
Just what I am. Yeah.
That joke is like a Rodney Dangerfield joke. I tried weed one time only. I didn't know what I was doing. I was high on cocaine.
I'll tell you.
Hey, listen, you made a great observation. We were watching CNN, and they put up a graphic, a picture of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
Hillary Clinton is a picture of a grandmother. And then not Bill Clinton, he's not even in the picture. Hillary Clinton's a grandmother, and then Donald Trump, you might as well just draw the devil mustache and beard on him. It's like, and to me, they're doing it. They don't like him, right? Most of the media seems to not like him, which is fine. Admit it though, and just say that out loud, because when it looks like you're trying to hide it like that. All you're doing, people see through that stuff now. Sure. I talk to so many people who are friends of mine. My wife grew up in Ohio, and she's got relatives, and there's a lot of Democrats that I know in Ohio that are voting for Trump just because they see how much the media goes after him.
A lot of backlash.
That they trust him more.
Yeah,
I don't really think you should trust Donald Trump for that reason.
No.
If you do trust him, okay, that's your choice. But if you're going after because a lot of people are voting just in spite of the media at this point, and what happens is I'm looking at those pictures right now. It looks like they're putting it up there unfairly. You might as well have the halo over Hillary,
sure,
and then the devil on the other shoulder.
Well, that's why he's been adamant about this debate coming up on Monday, which again may be the most viewed event in television history.
It's going to be bigger than the MASH finale. I'm promising you that. Nobody cares about Klinger anymore. And Klinger, in today's age, what bathroom would he go into? A lot of people wouldn't know that. A lot of different things going on.
So nobody's nervous that he's going to be mistreated because the media tends to side with her.
I mean, he goes on. He just what he tends to do is what I think he will do is he'll just try and take over it.
Yeah.
I mean, he does that. He does that thing where he just starts to take over and goes, "I don't care what you're saying. It doesn't matter. Do you know how tall you are, Anderson? Anderson Cooper is 3 apples high and lives in a mushroom house. There's actually a sorcerer trying to turn him into gold. That's how tiny Anderson Cooper is." I don't know, and I can never. I just I try to look at it objectively the whole time, and to me, it's the silliest election I think we've ever seen. I just can't believe that's even what it is.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon we're witnessing right now. We're kind of lucky to be smack dab in the middle of it.
Well, it depends. We're lucky because that's what we do for a living, Bernard, so it makes our job easier. But I can't tell you how many folks have said to me, wait a second.
That's true, too.
There are 300 million people in this country, and these are the 2 best we can do.
Yeah. You're even waiting for President Obama to say it. Whether you like Obama or not, you just wait.
Could you explain this to me? How can this be that the person who's going to succeed me is Hillary or Donald Trump? I've seen John Oliver. I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, so
it's like Tanya Harding versus Charlie Sheen.
Yeah,
election is what it pretty much is.
It's crazy to me that this is where we're at. But again, I guess we deserve it. It's where we're at.
I guess we voted him in. I mean, he beat 16 people. He didn't get there by accident. So somebody wants him.
Yeah,
he got the most votes in the Republican primary process ever. Now, speaking of
number one vote getter,
that I can tell you. Speaking of trust, there is an actor. His voice inspires trust. Morgan Freeman. He's in a new movie called Ben-Hur. Now, me personally,
movie called Ben-Hur.
That's right.
You mean the remake?
The remake.
Okay,
yes.
okay, right.
Yeah. So I see Morgan Freeman in the trailers for Ben-Hur, and I just can't buy it. He's wearing these ancient costumes. All I see is Morgan Freeman on an acting set. I mean, at this point, but still the voice is there from Driving Miss Daisy, and I know nobody does it better than Frank Caliendo.
Yeah, nobody.
Well, there are so many times and so many ways to look at so many things. Ben-Hur.
I mean,
there's a Caitlyn Jenner joke there somewhere. Yeah. He's been her for quite a while now.
Drop the mic.
Took me a second.
Drop the
Probably
mic,
shouldn't
baby.
have kept going.
That was great.
I didn't have that joke until I was forcing myself to figure it out.
You're going to use it tomorrow
I
night?
probably will. I don't know. That one, that might be the only place I ever do that, but I just realized that's a pretty solid joke.
You heard it right here. Frank Caliendo, ad lib of Ben-Hur, Morgan Freeman.
It was tremendous. That was the number one joke.
Yes. Fantastic.
It was beautiful, too, because you had the Shawshank music in the background.
Right.
While it was made you, inspired you, didn't it?
Absolutely. It really did. Me? Are we talking about me? Because everything is... You know what? I've actually tattooed pictures of myself inside my eyelids, so when I blink, I get to see two of me.
Come on, man. Yeah, you know, some of your early influences, Jonathan Winters, Dana Carvey, Robin Williams.
Wow. The serious Robin. Oh. The one where you grow a beard and win an Academy Award.
Wow, that's
there
great.
You go.
Jonathan Winters was always fun. I did something just a little weird today. Something most people don't do. It involves a kitty cat, a dog, and a box of Tinker Toys. And not sure if I should be telling you this, but there's a spot on those animals you're not supposed to connect with a toy. Oh. I'm going to get in trouble for that one, huh? Bernie said, oh, that's a good one.
Yo, that's funny, man.
Money.
Yeah, I can't even do that on stage anymore.
Oh, man.
No, nobody knows who the hell he is.
Nobody remembers.
But it's a mad world.
Oh, yeah.
Funniest
Get
epic.
Get on the bike and start riding.
Right.
I'd like to ride that bike all over the place and have Morgan Freeman narrate it for me.
Well, you're starting to turn into Marty Frickert halfway through. There you go, Sonny.
Uncanny.
Unreal.
Did you get a lot of from watching old movies? You picked up voices and repeating.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I just watched a lot of television. I don't even watch a lot of TV
What was the
anymore.
first voice you did when you said, you know what, I could actually make a living doing this? I mean, I'm pretty good. Who was it?
I don't know if that's what it was. I mean, I jutted my chin out, looked in the mirror, and this was in like the 90s, and I just started doing a Jay Leno. I was like, hey, how would you like some nacho cheese flavored Doritos? 8 points all you want. We'll make more. Me. Turned into Beaker from the Muppets. Eventually, they all.
But even the blinking in the eyes, you got it down, man.
Just,
the way you move your head like that, that's Jay.
You try to become the person.
Right.
It's
right.
And embody what they are. There's always a little piece of me in it too, which I've been working on the acting side of this stuff a lot outside of the impressions. So trying to figure out how to make that happen with non-impression type characters, because a lot of times a character is just somebody that isn't famous.
Right.
Like
it could be funny.
Yeah, and the difference between the impression is everybody doesn't have this. With an impression, everybody has the frame of reference, right? But with a character that's built on somebody and nobody else does, you have to create the frame of reference for them.
I remember when James Gandolfini, God rest his soul, Tony Soprano.
I know it well. I don't even know what your problem is. Get on with it, shit. Could you do it?
No. He one time.
Here what we're going to do. We're going to start playing Journey and see how it feels to you. How's that? Is that going to make you feel good about yourself?
He one time crashed his Vespa in Lower Manhattan. It's a true story, okay? And he's laying there. He's bleeding. He's on the sidewalk. He's bleeding.
He was on a Vespa?
He was on a Vespa.
Yeah.
So the guy runs over to him. He goes, oh, my God, Anthony, are you okay? And he looks up. It's a true story. It's documented. He goes, jerk off. My name is James. That's the guy I play on television. And believe it or not, when he quit The Sopranos, because he did quit before he died.
And then I frickin' stabbed him.
But he was aggravated that people couldn't decipher the man from the character. Like when people,
tell Bob
they even know
Denver
your
about
name.
it. Gilligan.
No, but listen, the people even know your name half the time.
No. But the people don't know.
That's the guy that does
people don't know
Morgan's
anybody's name anymore. I mean, does
it bother you?
I mean, no. But like my son will watch. My son doesn't know the difference between Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon.
Is that right?
Hey, his dad, isn't that one of the Jimmys? Like he doesn't even, he knows the Jimmy, and how famous is Fallon right now, So, and Kimmel too. Kimmel just hosted the Emmys. So, it's always funny for me because I've known Jim Kimmel for such a long time. But, Yeah, I mean, people don't know anybody's names. Like, there's a guy at Gotham Comedy Club last night that looked like Jeremy Renner. If I said Jeremy Renner, nobody would know. I'd be like, Hawkeye?
Right.
Hawkeye from the Avengers. I'm like, he looks like Hawkeye.
Right.
I even forgot.
Yeah.
Frank Caliendo in studio. You got to, just briefly, you got to know, obviously, you've known Terry Bradshaw for a long time.
I tell you what, that's some good stuff right there.
And it's a nice guy. That's a nice man.
He's great. Do we have time here for another minute? Because I thought you guys had to go. So, So I look forward to football season, even more so than football now, for the Terry Bradshaw commercials. Because halfway through the commercial, you realize they just gave up and let him do whatever he wants. Like, there's a writer that's going, Terry, just do it. Because, like, the Nutrisystem commercial, like, there's no way that could get through whatever the FTC or anything. Like, I was tired of being fat and ugly. It's Nutrisystem. They can't help you with ugly. There's nothing on the back of the package that says, this will help. We don't guarantee, but you may not be as ugly after 6 weeks.
Skinny and ugly, maybe.
Right. And then came the shingles commercial thing.
Oh, boy.
Which is the greatest piece of television ever, because it's so realistic, where he's like, hi, I'm Terry. He knocks on somebody's door, right? He knocks on the door. Hi, I'm Terry Bradshaw, and I have shingles. Let me come in your house, sit on your couch, and tell you about it.
Oh, God.
Why don't you call me from the car? Can you give me maybe leave me a flyer? That somebody, or just, email it to me. Don't even touch the paper.
God.
That's...
You had chicken pox.
Frank Caliendo, listen, man, we are out of time. You're brilliant, hilarious. Frank Caliendo, don't forget, tomorrow night in Hartford at the Funny Bone, Thursday night, Montclair, New Jersey, Wellmont Theater, Friday night, the Paramount in Huntington, and Saturday night, Atlantic City, the Borgata Hotel and Casino. Frank Caliendo and Bernie said thank you very much.
Thank you, and frankonstage.com will take you the info for all the tickets and all that stuff. Thanks, guys.
Keep it easy right there. All right, Frank, good luck. Godspeed. Back after this.
77 WABC. Traffic and transit.
The Cross Island Parkway northbound near Northern Boulevard accident in the 2 left lanes is causing a 10-minute delay from the LIE. In Manhattan, the FDR Drive northbound off-ramp to 42nd Street is closed due to police activity, and that's causing delays to 20th Street. First Avenue also closed northbound between East 42nd and East 49th Streets, and at Marcy Avenue, the J&M subways are back on time. Checking the forecast from Channel 7's Bill Evans, partly sunny, 74, 84 for today's high, 67 overnight, 84 and sunny tomorrow. Our next report in about 15 minutes, Angela Chase.